how do I even review this phone? Well, let's give it a try. To sum up my month and a half with the Pixel 7 Pro, impressively unastonishing. It doesn't change the fact that I would say that the Pixel 7 Pro might be the best high-end smartphone for most people, especially the non-Uber Android nerds. But at the same time, there's a little bit of a learning curve that comes with using the Pixel 7 Pro and getting the most out of it. And I don't know if any of the non-Uber nerd people are going to take the time to do that. Battery life on the Pixel 7 Pro has been great. With the screen at 120 Hz, full HD, I've been getting between 6 to 8 hours screen on time, depending upon Wi-Fi versus LTE, indoors versus outdoors, screen at max brightness versus screen minimum brightness. At 60 Hz, I'm getting almost 9.5 hours of screen on time, and at 60 Hz on Wi-Fi, mostly inside, you're probably gonna get over 10 hours of screen on time easily. That said, if you're coming from another high-end smartphone, 6.5 to 8 hours of screen on time isn't impressive, nor is it astonishing. It's just kind of good, or maybe average. Charging speed. Charging speed's another thing that's been impressively unastonishing. Charging speeds have been consistent and reliable, but not astonishing. If the device is at 20% battery, 20 minutes on a 33-watt charger will get you up to about 55 to 65%, as long as your ambient temperatures are below 30 degrees. What I found even better though about the charging is that the charging speed and device performance are almost completely unrelated, as long as your ambient temperature isn't super hot outside. As long as you're under, let's say 33 to 35 degrees, you're probably not going to notice a dip in device performance when charging the device with the most powerful charger, which is different than other devices I had in the past, where when you use the fast charger with the device, it heats the device up, it thermal throttles the device's charging speed, and thus you're also gonna thermal throttle the device's performance. You don't get that with the Pixel. In fact, you get consistent device performance whether or not you're charging or not charging, as long as you don't have your device in a case. As soon as you put your device in the case, it acts like a blanket, and obviously it's going to thermal throttle a lot faster. So I would say that the charging speed is consistent and it's quick, but it's not impressive nor astonishing. Device performance has also been impressively unastonishing. It's going to feel really snappy, and for most tasks, it feels about as fast as a Snapdragon 865, maybe even a little bit faster. For normal everyday tasks though, like opening apps, messaging apps, scrolling through social media, it's extremely fast and smooth. No matter how many apps you have open in the background, I would say that the device performance has been really good and consistent, especially with the 12 gigabytes of RAM. Now, I haven't thrown much in the way of hardcore gaming at it, although I have played a bit of Warship Blitz at the maximum graphics settings, at the maximum frame rate at 120 Hertz, and at 120 Hertz at the maximum graphics settings, I am getting 120 frames per second, and device play is great, and it plays really smooth. Maybe if you guys comment and tell me that you want me to throw some more hardcore games at it, like Call of Duty or maybe Genshin Impact, I'll do a video about that. But let me know in the comment section down below. And if you're liking this video, go ahead and give the video a like, because it's the #1 way that Google knows that they should push my videos to more people's algorithms. The speakers actually have been really good. And if you're coming from a lower end device, they might be a little bit more astonishing. Listening to videos outside, even on a busy street, I can hear them pretty well. Phone calls have been great when I take the call on speakerphone, and overall, the device speaker performance has been good. Here, take a listen. Something a little bit more astonishing if you're coming from a lower end phone would be the screen. Now, the screen has been phenomenal and a welcome upgrade to the Pixel 6 and the Pixel 6a that could oftentimes be a little bit more difficult to see outside. This display is big, bright, beautiful, and I absolutely love using the device. I thought that I was going to dislike the curved screen even more than I do, but I'm finding that with a nice case that I don't absolutely hate the curved screen as much as I have on previous devices that I owned, like the Xiaomi Mi 10 or the Xiaomi Mi Note 10. While we're talking about screen, fingerprint scanner. The fingerprint scanner has been good, it's been reliable. Face ID has been great, and we'll talk about Face ID more in a minute. But the fingerprint scanner isn't even close to as fast as it was on my Samsung Galaxy S21 Plus, but that's because it's using an optical fingerprint scanner and not an ultrasonic one. So again, impressively unastonishing. Let's talk about the cameras a little bit because there's been a lot of hype about the cameras and there's some really good parts, but there's also some maybe not good parts. The good has been with the new ultra-wide and the autofocus that we get with the ultra-wide lens and the fact that the ultra-wide can do macro shots and it's actually a lot wider. It feels like the ultra-wide on the Pixel 7 Pro is a true ultra-wide, and the fact that we have autofocus makes it much more versatile. The Pixel 6 was more of a wider angle, and the Pixel 7 Pro is a nice departure from this. Now, the telephoto lens is absolutely phenomenal. I find myself using the 5x periscope zoom on my Pixel 7 Pro all the time, and the quality of it is absolutely incredible. The fact that I have that same color science, the fact that I have the same computational photography on all three of the lenses is great. And Google has done a pretty good job of tuning all three lenses to get great color consistency across the three different camera units. Now though, we gotta talk about some of the really bad aspects of the Pixel 7 Pro's camera, which is how Google is handling HDR, 10-bit video, and different color spaces. Now, if you choose to shoot in the HDR 10-bit video on the Pixel 7 Pro, you're going to be getting files that are in the HLG 2020 color gamut. And if you already are lost with this, you might want to skip ahead in the video because this is going to get pretty nerdy as we talk about color science and video stuff. Now, the HLG 2020 color gamut allows for brighter whites, but unfortunately, or at least it doesn't seem this way, there's no way for us to shoot HDR video in the Rec 709 color gamut, or if the camera is defaulting to shooting HDR video in Rec 709, they are not telling the end user that. This means that you are unable to have a streamlined workflow from your camera to social media platforms or from your camera to a conventional editor like Adobe Premiere Pro. The HDR workflow, even for a professional like me, is a pain in the ass to work with. Now, this issue with the 4K 10-bit HDR video also goes to the front camera. And while we're on the subject of the front camera, it's gotten some really nice improvements, and it now also supports Face ID. And if it's too dark for that Face ID, it'll prompt you to use your fingerprint with that new fingerprint scanner, and the overall process is pretty smooth and quick. The thing is that other companies have gotten much better at doing cell phone cameras. And Google's lead that they had a few years ago with having their absolutely phenomenal computational photography is quickly being closed by the competition. If you're looking for a phone with an amazing video camera, there's other companies on the market that are not only handling HDR video better, but have more features like the Sony Xperia 1 Mark V with its 4K 120 video. Other companies are offering 8K video. So really the camera landscape is a bunch of different trade-offs. And the fact of the matter is that the Pixel 7 Pro, in my opinion, is probably still the king of pull out your phone and snap a picture. But if you're looking for more video-centric stuff, other companies are really closing the gap. Now I want to touch on something that is extremely unastonishing, and that's software. Even though the software on the Pixel 7 Pro is really, really good, and if you use the Google ecosystem of applications, you're going to love this phone because this phone is in many ways smarter than other smartphones I've used, and it integrates all of those smarts with the Google ecosystem of applications. Now, I want to give you a couple of key examples of what I'm talking about. The first is on-device voice dictation. Now, I'm reading this off of a teleprompter, and in the past, I tried using Siri on my Apple computer to type out scripts like this, and it just wasn't even close. When I tried to actually type out scripts, I found that I speak extremely differently than how I write, which made it difficult for me to effectively write scripts for YouTube. Now, about a year ago, I bought my Pixel 6 and I started using the voice to text feature to write out more stuff. I found it to be extremely accurate and quick, and it was so accurate and quick that I bought a teleprompter because it's become so much easier for me to write natural scripts for here on YouTube. The next thing I want to talk about is automatic routines. Now, there's something that I absolutely love because when I get home and my phone connects to my Wi-Fi, it knows to turn off mobile data, turn off location, and turn up the volume on all of my notifications without me ever having to do anything. I know other devices might have this, but on the Pixel series of devices, it prompts you to do this. Another one, Magic Eraser and motion modes. Now, Vietnam is pretty polluted and we have trash most places that you go outside, even in nature. Magic Eraser on the Pixel 7 Pro does a decent job of trying to hide the trash. And while it's not as good as a dedicated editor in Photoshop, for social media stuff and for sharing memories with my family, Magic Eraser is great and it makes a dirty beach scene seem less dirty. Motion modes are another thing that I absolutely love because in the past, if I wanted to take a long exposure at the beach with that kind of blurry, silky smooth looking water, I needed to bring my dedicated camera and a tripod. That means I had to put it in a backpack. It's an extra 2 to 4 kilos or 4 to 6 pounds for you Americans, and take that with me to the beach. Motion modes means all that I need to take a picture with that same effect is my Pixel 7 Pro and a steady hand. And I'm able to get long exposures at the beach, which look great. The difficult thing about all this is that my wife's Google Pixel 6a offers nearly the same performance, basically the same software experience, and just slightly worse components. The fingerprint scanner on her phone is faster than the Pixel 6, not as fast as the Pixel 7. The battery life of her Pixel 6a isn't as good as it is on my 7 Pro at 120 Hertz and Full HD, but if I bump it up to the WQHD screen resolution, which you can get on the Pixel 7 Pro, battery life between the two devices is relatively comparable. If you're not someone that needs to have the best screen, the best battery life, and the best camera, you can get most of, if not all of these features at a much cheaper price point. That said, if you're looking for the smartest smartphone and you're looking for a phone that will ultimately give you a different user experience than you would find on other comparably priced phones, the Pixel 7 Pro is really the only option because you're going to get a phone that has a lot of the same premium capabilities as the competition, but in a smarter, kind of more intuitive software package with components that might not be as good, but are still really, really good in today's market. Okay, impressively unastonishing. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below. Peace. To sum up my month and a half with the Pixel 7 Pro, impressively unastonishing. I've been using the Pixel 7 Pro for a little over a month. Now this issue with the 4K 10-bit HDR video goes for the front camera as well. And while we'll mention